So what if I told you that the world's most valuable asset is being built every single day, right under our noses, and that one of the biggest players in this new economy is, believe it or not, Pikachu? Today we're going to tear into this fascinating report from Augusta Global Insights that connects the dots between a simple game and the entire future of artificial intelligence.
I know. You're probably thinking, Pokemon? Seriously? The kid's game from the 90s? How on earth does that tie into the global economy and AI? And you know what? It's a totally fair question. But stick with me, because the story behind Pokemon Go tells us something absolutely crucial about the new data economy that, frankly, affects every single one of us.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret mission behind Pokemon Go. Then, we'll look at the very real shockwaves this whole data-first model is already creating. After that, we'll see how industry giants are scrambling to form partnerships just to survive. And finally, we'll map out the brand new AI power structure that's taking shape right now.
All right, so let's get right into it. What is the big secret behind Pokemon Go? Well, just like the slide says, the game was never just a game. Not even close. It had a much bigger purpose.
To really get a handle on this, you have to understand the sheer scale we're talking about. Even today, almost a decade after it first launched, the game still has somewhere between 60 and 125 million active users. This is not some forgotten fad, folks. It's a global machine for gathering data.
And a franchise behind it? It's an absolute juggernaut. We're talking over $150 billion in lifetime revenue. Pokemon isn't just a game, it is the highest-grossing media franchise in history. And that kind of financial muscle gives it a strategic power that's being used in some really surprising ways.
So, here it is, the big twist. What was the real game being played? Well, while millions of people were running around catching digital monsters, they were, without even realizing it, building one of the biggest data collection projects ever attempted. They weren't just players, they were the workforce.
And the amount of data they collected? It's just staggering. Over 30 billion real-world images have been generated by players. Think about that. Every time someone used the AR camera or scanned a location, they were helping to map our physical world in incredible detail. And this data isn't just collecting dust. It's the training fuel for visual navigation AI, for things like delivery robots that don't even need GPS.
Now, obviously, this level of data collection raises some huge privacy questions. Look at this list. According to what Niantic told the US Senate, they were collecting everything from your email to exactly where you've been. Now, they said the data wasn't being sold, but it really makes you think about that trade-off we're all making between a little bit of fun and a whole lot of our personal information.
But this whole data-first model isn't just about a game on your phone. As we're about to see, the shockwaves are hitting everything, from the kind of jobs available to whether or not you can afford your rent.
This headline from Bloomberg, it pretty much says it all. For the first time ever, we are investing more money in building data centers, the physical brains of AI, than in office buildings. We're literally building more places for machines to work than for people to work. That's a huge shift.
And the consequences are hitting people right where they live. As all this capital floods into AI and automation, a lot of traditional jobs just aren't keeping up, and salaries are lagging way behind the cost of living. Which leads you to headlines like this one from Redfin. Almost half the country is struggling with housing costs. Now, in response to this kind of economic pressure, we're starting to see some pretty radical proposals. The Augusta Global report that we're looking at, for instance, points to a recent presidential housing idea, and it gives it the label Socialism 1.0.1.
And the future for the next generation entering the workforce, it looks pretty intense. This quote from the CEO of ServiceNow is a massive warning sign. He's predicting that as AI gets better and better, Gen Z grads could be looking at unemployment rates of 30% or even higher, and that's just in the next couple of years.
So, with all this disruption happening, how are the biggest companies on the planet supposed to react? Well, our next section dives into a key strategy they're using. They're teaming up. They're forming these massive partnerships just to survive.
The recent partnership between Adobe and Nvidia is the perfect case study. Just look at how this works. It's a perfect match. Adobe brings the tools everyone uses, like Photoshop, millions of users, and all the data that comes with them. And Nvidia, they bring the horsepower, the chips, the GPUs, the raw computing power that makes it all go.
And make no mistake, this isn't just a friendly collaboration. It's a strategic power play to build what they call an AI moat. Like a moat around a castle. It makes it almost impossible for smaller competitors to even get close. For Nvidia,
This deal cements them as the ones selling the picks and shovels in the AI gold rush, and it turns their hardware sales into a nice, steady stream of software revenue.
All right, let's zoom out for the big finish. Our last section is all about the new AI power structure, where all the money, all the capital, and all the value is actually ending up.
According to the Augusta Global report, the entire AI world is basically shrinking down into two main layers. You've got the infrastructure layer, think of them as the pipes, which is dominated by companies like Nvidia. And then you have the application layer, that's the experience, controlled by companies like Adobe. The key insight here is that all the long-term value is going to the giants who own one of these two layers.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most powerful takeaway from this entire report: this new data economy. This incredibly valuable resource. It isn't being built in some high-tech lab. It's being built by us, every day, step by step, by millions of people who have no idea they're even on the clock.
So where does that leave us? Well, the bottom line is pretty clear. Data is the new oil. And every single one of us, whether we know it or not, is working on the rig every single day. The real question is, when it's all said and done, who actually gets to own what we find? Thanks for tuning in.